I'm Trevor Borman on assignment in Bahrain, and this is Foreign Correspondent. It's a pocket-sized kingdom, but it packs a punch, especially when subjects start stamping their feet. That's when all the king's forces and some of his friends come down on opponents like a ton of bricks.
It's going to be a massacre. It's going to be truly a massacre.
As the neighbourhood explodes and long-term tyrants fall, how did the rulers of this little sliver of Arabian sand see off revolution?
I'm a Bahraini. I've lived all my life here. I have not seen any violence.
What's happening is not pretty. In fact, it's very confronting. And while authorities here don't like nosy outsiders, we are determined to shed some light on the uprising the world forgot.
Everybody's terrorized. When it will be my turn?
I've been here a week now working beneath the radar of the kingdom's security forces, and the material we've gathered portrays a Bahrain they don't want you to see. The Arab world's island nation is a can-do place for business. The sands here gushed with the first oil ever discovered in the Gulf. Now dusty cities of glass and steel sprout from the desert. This is the domain of the royal family Khalifa, and the king's broader clan of 3,000 or so control government and a lot of the business. Pity anyone who stands in their path. If I were a businessman here, life would be great. A free trade agreement with the United States, no capital gains tax, no stamp duty. I wouldn't even have to pay income tax. But as a journalist, my stay will be difficult. Behind the facade, something dramatic and dreadful is happening. Business-friendly Bahrain is under a curfew and martial law. Its citizens and the foreign workers who make up half the population endure a daily grind of checks and roadblocks. Then there's the occupation by invitation, the 300 tanks that cross the causeway from Saudi Arabia. We need to film secretly from our car. To appear in the open with a camera would lead to our arrest. But just off the freeway, open for business Bahrain becomes a closed and a very different world.
It is modern, and you see civilization, you see technology everywhere, but when you go to the villages, you will see the other face of Bahrain. You will see poverty, you will see neglected buildings, you will see neglected areas.
It was in the mainly Shiite villages around the capital Manama where Bahrain's spectacular but short-lived uprising was hatched. For decades, the majority Shiite population had complained of discrimination. Fewer senior jobs in the police, military and public service, while Sunni Muslims with royal blessing had more opportunity.
It actually started with social media. We agreed on a certain date. I mean, 14th of February is just a date that people agreed to go out and ask for their rights and reform.
In the past 6 weeks, young men like Ali have messaged, tweeted and uploaded their way through Bahrain's opposition revolt. He's now as wanted as anyone on the barricades.
The easiest way would be technology. You'd use Skype, you'd use BlackBerry, you'd use any form of secure line, any form of contact And that's how you could do it. I mean, you don't have to see the person face to face.
This is where Ali and his social media mobilisers led their people to the iconic Pearl Roundabout. At first their demands were modest, a more representative parliament and a clampdown on corruption. But their restraint was met with a heavy hand, and the first protesters would die as the roundabout was cleared.
We went out, they shot one of us. He was killed instantly. The second day, in his funeral proceedings, they shot the second person. And it just started from there.
It was Bahrain's darkest hour, so said its crown prince.
رسالة مواطن ورسالة رجال.
But he told the protesters they could return to the roundabout, and return they did.
They finish work and go there, or they start their day from there. I mean, you had kids, women, children, families, old people, young people. They knew that this was something that they had to do. It was a stand everybody was making.
But embittered by the deaths of its so-called martyrs, the crowd's demands became more audacious. Many now wanted an overthrow of the monarchy. Others wanted to drive them into the sea. As the demonstrators threatened to blockade Manama's financial district, security forces moved in to disperse the crowd and dismantle a tent city that had been the epicentre of the protests for a month.
I am thankful that these young people do use their videos and cameras to know, to convey the truth about what's happening in Bahrain. Whenever the killings start, they start filming quickly and they upload the videos within an hour or so you can see the real situation.
The uprising organised through social media was being conveyed and documented to the world through new technology. An information war had begun.
You can see how courageous he is. Alone. Here I am. You want me? I'm not hiding. I'm not going. Shoot me. It's very clear. And, I mean, he expects to be shot. It's just inspiring. It shows what people are willing to do. I'm actually very proud about the people that we have here.
Hello and welcome to a special episode of Bahrain Have Your Say on
The only local television here is Bahrain's national broadcaster.
Dr. Al-Ansari, thank you very much for being with us here.
Its loyal presenters had their own take on events. Anchor Adea Ahmed says she's conveying the truth and context missing from international coverage of the uprising.
We will bring you witness reports of how police were kidnapped, brutally treated, attacked and tortured on the hands of so-called peaceful protesters. Well, they weren't protesters, they were criminals and terrorists who terrorized these policemen. I don't believe that unarmed protesters were shot by snipers. I believe that some videos could be fabricated. I'm a Bahraini. I've lived all my life here. I have not seen any violence. Some people sincerely believe that the moment they die on the hands of a policeman, they are martyrs. You're promised virgins in heaven. And by being so brainwashed, I can visualize, I can imagine that some people actually wanted to die on that day.